Alex had always been curious. Ever since he was a child, he wanted to see the unknown, touch the impossible, and understand what no one else could. That curiosity had brought him here, to Zephyria, a distant planet full of strange landscapes and even stranger life forms. He was part of a human expedition, sent to study the mysterious alien species called the Lyrans. His team had warned him countless times not to wander alone, not to enter restricted areas, but Alex's curiosity often overpowered caution. That day, the sun on Zephyria glowed with a soft pink light, casting long shadows over the settlement. The air shimmered with a gentle hum that seemed alive, vibrating just slightly beneath the skin. Alex walked slowly through the winding corridors, his boots making soft noises on the smooth, glowing floor. He was trying to understand the rhythm of the Lyrans, to see how they lived, to feel their world in a way no human had ever done. It happened by accident. Around a corner, Alex saw a door slightly open. It was small, almost hidden, with no markings he could understand. Something inside drew him, a soft glow, a faint melody in the air like music made of light. He hesitated. His mind told him to turn back, to follow the rules, to go to a safe place. But his heart pulled him forward. He pushed the door gently. The sound of it sliding open was soft, like a sigh. Inside, the room was breathtaking. Light bounced off walls in colors Alex could not name. The floor shimmered, rippling slightly as if alive. Strange plants floated in midair, their leaves moving without wind. The air smelled sweet, like flowers he had never seen on Earth. His eyes roamed over the room, and he felt a strange mixture of awe and fear. Then he saw it. On the far wall, hanging like a sacred portrait, was a photograph, and in it was him. Alex froze. His own face stared back at him, smiling around a campfire from a memory he thought was private, from a moment that had seemed ordinary, now immortalized here in this alien room. His mind spun. How could this be? How did she get this? Was someone watching him? Did she know him personally? Alex stepped back, unsure whether to apologize or run. His heart beat fast and 1,000 questions collided in his mind. He was about to retreat when he heard movement behind him. The door slid completely open and she appeared. She was taller than him, elegant, with skin that seemed to glow faintly under the Zephyrian light. Her hair, or whatever floated above her head like a liquid halo, shifted with colors reflecting the room. Her eyes were large, impossibly deep, and when they met his, Alex felt something pull at his chest, something he could not name. "You found my private room," she said, her voice smooth and musical. It was not cold or angry, but it carried power like a wave that could touch the mind. I'm sorry," Alex stammered. "I didn't know." She lifted her hand gently, stopping him. "You didn't harm anything," she said. Her eyes then flicked to the photograph. "I've been waiting for someone like you." Alex's head spun. Waiting for him? How could this alien being know him, want him, even recognize him? It felt impossible, absurd. His legs felt heavy. His mind raced, and yet something in her gaze made him pause, made him believe. For the first time since arriving on Zephyria, Alex felt both small and important at the same time. And in that quiet, glowing room with the soft hum of energy all around, he realized that this accidental step had changed everything. He had crossed a threshold, into her world, into her heart, into a story far bigger than himself. He didn't know yet what it all meant. He didn't know what would happen next. But he could feel it in his bones. Nothing would ever be the same again. Alex could hardly breathe. The alien woman, Leora, stood before him, calm yet commanding, her gaze locked on his face. He wanted to speak, to explain, to apologize, but the words refused to come. His mind was spinning, trying to make sense of what he was seeing. She had a photograph of him taken from Earth in her private room. And now she was here, looking at him as if she had been expecting him all along. I don't understand," Alex finally managed to say. His voice trembled. How do you have this?" Leora's lips curved into a faint smile. It was not a human smile exactly, but it carried warmth and understanding. "I've been watching you," she said simply. Not in a way that harms, but in a way that matters. Alex's heart skipped a beat. Watching him? He had thought the Lyrans observed humans as a species, studying them like specimens. He had never imagined one of them noticing him specifically, choosing him. The idea was surreal, almost unbelievable. "You chose me?" he whispered, unsure if he wanted the answer. Leora tilted her head slightly as if considering how much to reveal. I didn't choose you like one chooses an object. I recognized something in you, a spark, a curiosity, a courage. You have a heart that reaches beyond yourself. That is rare, Alex's mind raced. Courage? Heart? He had never considered himself extraordinary. He had joined the expedition because he wanted adventure, yes. But he was just one human among many. How could this alien woman see him this way? Why did you keep this? He asked, gesturing to the photograph. Because I wanted to remember, she said softly. Because you matter. Your presence, your choices, your energy. It is different from the rest. Humans. You are small, fragile, and yet there is strength in you that cannot be measured by size or speed. That is why your image hangs here. Alex felt a lump in his throat. He had never felt seen like this before. Humans often overlooked each other, judging by accomplishments or power. But here, in this alien room, he felt recognized not for what he had done, but for who he was. He wanted to ask questions, but Leora stepped closer. Her movements were graceful, like flowing water. The closer she came, the more he felt a strange warmth in his chest. It wasn't fear, not exactly, but it was unfamiliar. A mix of awe, curiosity, and something deeper he couldn't name. Why are you telling me this? He asked, voice barely audible. Because honesty matters, she said. And because you deserve to know. You are not a visitor to my eyes. You are something I have been waiting to encounter. Alex swallowed hard. Waiting for him? That simple word carried weight heavier than anything he had experienced on Earth. He felt exposed, vulnerable, and yet profoundly alive. He wanted to step back, but every part of him wanted to stay. He realized something important in that moment. He was no longer just a human observer on Zephyria. He was part of a story bigger than his own life, intertwined with someone extraordinary. For hours they spoke in silence. Words were not enough to describe the connection forming between them. Leora shared small details about her world, her people, and the gentle rhythms of life on Zephyria. Alex listened, entranced, slowly understanding that humans and Lyrans could see the universe differently, but both perspectives held value. When the sun of Zephyria began to dip, casting golden light into the room, Alex finally spoke. I don't know what to say. Then say nothing, Leora whispered. Just stay. Let the moment exist. That is enough for now? Alex nodded, feeling a strange peace he had never known before. The photograph, the alien woman, the accidental intrusion, they all mattered. Somehow, by stepping into her room, he had stepped into something larger than himself. Something that might change not only his life, but the way humans could be seen in the universe. And in that soft, glowing room, with the hum of Zephyria around them, Alex began to understand that curiosity, his old, reckless curiosity, had led him to a place of wonder, recognition, and maybe even destiny. The days after Alex's accidental visit to Leora's room were unlike anything he had ever experienced. He couldn't stop thinking about her, about the photograph, about the strange way she had made him feel. It was not just fascination. There was something deeper, something that stirred a warmth in his chest he didn't understand. He tried to focus on the mission, on studying the Lyrans, but his mind kept drifting back to her. Eventually, curiosity overtook caution. He found himself walking through the corridors again, this time intentionally hoping to see her. When he entered her room, she was waiting. The same soft glow illuminated the space, the same floating plants swaying gently as if they knew he had come. She did not speak at first. She simply watched him, her eyes gentle yet searching. You returned, she said, her voice soft like wind through leaves. I wondered if you would. Alex hesitated, then nodded. I had to. I need to understand you. Why me? Why the photograph? Why now? Leora gestured for him to sit, though she remained standing, tall and graceful. Humans are fascinating, she began. Not because of your technology or power, but because of something in your heart. The choices you make, the courage you show, the way you care for each other. These are things we have not fully understood. I watch many humans, but you are different. You see, I have observed your people for years from a distance. I have seen wars, discoveries, love, loss, but your spirit called to me. Alex's chest tightened. He had never imagined that a being so different, so alien, could notice something so human, so fragile about him. He felt exposed and honored at the same time. I don't understand. I'm just me. I don't do anything special. That is exactly it, Leora said, moving closer. Her skin shimmered faintly in the light. You do not seek recognition. You do not act for reward. You simply are. And that is rare? Alex swallowed, unsure what to say. He wanted to explain, to justify, to tell her he wasn't worthy. But somehow every word he could think of sounded small, meaningless. He realized then that this moment was not about proving himself. It was about being seen, truly seen by someone who mattered. For hours they spoke. Leora told him about her world, about the Lyrans, and about the way they survived for thousands of years. They were wise and gentle but cautious. They had learned the value of life, the importance of patience, and the strength of connection. She explained that her people had observed humans often, but rarely had any human left a mark on her heart. And now you have, she said softly. I did not know it would happen. I did not know I would choose, but when I saw you, I could not look away. Alex's eyes widened. Choose, Leora? What do you mean? I mean, she said, stepping closer, that I have chosen to let you into my world, to let you see it, to let you exist here. Not every human is allowed. Not every human is worth it. You are. Alex felt a rush of emotion he could not name. Pride, fear, joy, disbelief, all collided inside him. He realized that humans were often small and fragile compared to alien worlds. But in moments like this, their hearts could shine brighter than anything else. For the first time, he truly understood something important. Humanity mattered even in the vast, glittering universe. It mattered not because of strength or skill, but because of courage, curiosity, and the ability to connect, to love, to make a difference. Leora's hand hovered near his, almost touching, almost bridging the gap between alien and human. Alex wanted to reach, to close the distance, but he paused. This was more than desire, it was respect, trust, understanding. And he realized he had earned it not through power or knowledge, but through simply being himself. That night, Alex left her room with a new sense of purpose. The photograph on the wall no longer seemed mysterious or magical. It was a promise, a symbol, a recognition of something greater than him, a connection between two species, two hearts, two worlds. And in the quiet of the Zephyrian night, as the twin moons rose high, Alex felt a strange certainty. This was only the beginning. In the days that followed, Alex found himself returning to Leora's room more often. Sometimes it was by accident, a wrong turn in the glowing corridors, but increasingly it became intentional. The room had become a place of quiet refuge, a space where the chaos of Zephyria and the weight of the human expedition faded away. Here, Alex could simply exist. Leora welcomed him each time, her presence both commanding and gentle. She shared the smallest details of her life, how her people floated among the Zephyrian forests, how they listened to the songs of the planets, how they measured time in light and breath rather than seconds. Alex listened, fascinated, his mind soaking in each new revelation. He realized that the Lyrans, though powerful and ancient, were not so different from humans. They longed for understanding, for connection, for moments that made life meaningful. And Alex, in his simple human way, began to teach Leora things too. He told her about Earth, about laughter around a campfire, about storms and sunsets, about love and friendship, and the things humans did not always notice but that gave life color. He laughed at his own stories, and sometimes she joined in, a melodic sound that was almost like music. It was awkward, strange, and yet beautiful, this exchange between human and alien, between curiosity and wonder. As days passed into weeks, a bond formed. It was not rushed, not forced. It grew quietly in shared glances, in the spaces between words, in the trust that built between them. Alex noticed that when he spoke of human fears, she did not recoil. When he admitted doubt or weakness, she did not judge. Instead, she listened, understood, and responded with a wisdom that made him feel seen in ways he had never imagined. One evening, as Zephyria's twin moons rose and painted the sky in silver and violet, Alex and Leora stood together at the edge of her room, looking out over the glowing city below. The air was thick with the scent of floating flowers, and the hum of energy vibrated softly beneath their feet. "You are changing me," Leora said quietly. Her eyes fixed on the horizon. Alex glanced at her, startled. "Me? How?" "I'm just human." "No," she said firmly. "Your human ways, your curiosity, your courage, your heart. They are teaching me things my people have forgotten. You see life differently. You remind me that even small beings can make a difference. Alex's chest tightened. He had never thought of himself as remarkable. Yet here, in the alien light, he felt something stir deep inside, a sense of worth, of purpose, of being part of something greater than himself. He wanted to tell her how much this meant, how much he wanted to be part of her world, but words failed him. Instead, he reached out, letting his hand hover near hers. For a moment, their fingers almost touched, a fragile bridge between human and Lyran. Then came the first warning signs. Other Lyrans noticed the bond forming between them. Whispers traveled through the settlement. Their elders observed from afar, their expressions unreadable. Alex overheard snippets of conversation. Warnings about humans being unpredictable, dangerous, unworthy of such closeness. Fear and doubt began to creep into his mind. Had he overstepped? Was he merely a curiosity? A fleeting fascination to Leora, or was there more? When he raised the subject with her, Leora did not hide her own frustration or fear. "They do not understand," she said. Her voice was soft but strong. "They see humans as fragile, as brief sparks that can burn or fade. But I see you. I see what humans can be when they choose courage over fear, when they choose love over indifference. And I choose you." Her words struck him like lightning. It was not just acceptance. It was trust. And in that trust, Alex found something he had longed for all his life. A sense of belonging. A recognition that even a small human could matter in a vast, alien world. That night, as the city below shimmered with light, Alex realized something profound. Humans were fragile, yes, but they were resilient. They could inspire, connect, and leave marks on worlds far beyond their own. And with Leora, he had found a way to show that spark to an entire species. In that quiet, glowing room, humanity felt alive, capable, and infinite. Alex had thought the hardest part of his journey was understanding Leora, learning her world and discovering that humans could matter to an alien species. But he was wrong. The real challenge came when the rest of her people noticed the bond between them. It started subtly. Whispers in the corridors, glances that lingered a little too long. The elders of the Lyrans, beings who had lived for centuries, began watching Alex closely. They questioned his presence, his intentions, and most importantly, the effect he was having on Leora. Humans were unpredictable. They were fragile. They were, in their eyes, temporary sparks that could either illuminate or burn everything around them. One evening, as Alex prepared to visit Leora, he overheard part of a meeting between her elders. Words like danger, instability, and unacceptable floated through the hall. Fear struck his chest. Was he a threat? Was he simply an experiment gone wrong? His heart pounded as he realized that his presence in this world was no longer just about curiosity or friendship. It was a test of survival, not just for him, but for the fragile trust he shared with Leora. When he finally saw her, she was standing near the window, gazing at Zephyria's glowing forests below. Her expression was calm, but Alex sensed the tension beneath. "They are talking about you," he said quietly, unable to keep the worry out of his voice. "I know," she replied softly, without turning to face him. "They do not understand us. They see humans as fleeting, incapable of true connection. They do not see what I see in you." Alex took a cautious step closer. "And what is that?" She finally looked at him, her eyes deep pools of emotion. "I see courage. I see honesty. I see someone willing to stand for what is right even when it is difficult. You remind me that even humans, small as you are, can leave a mark on a world far bigger than yourselves. That is why I choose you." The weight of her words hit Alex hard. In all his life, no one had ever spoken to him like that. No one had ever seen him, not just his actions, but his heart. And yet he knew that words alone would not protect them. The elders' judgment could threaten everything they had built. He took her hand gently, feeling the warmth of her skin, the pulse of life that was both alien and familiar. "Then I'll stand with you," he said, his voice steady even though his heart raced. "I don't care what they think. If you believe in me, I will prove that humans can matter. I will prove that I am worthy of you." Her lips curved into the faintest smile. "That is all I ask," she whispered. The following days were tense. Alex found himself facing scrutiny at every turn. Some Lyrans were polite, curious, or distant, but others were hostile, questioning why he was allowed to roam freely, why he was given access to Leora, why he was even considered important. Each encounter tested his patience, his courage, and his faith in the trust Leora had placed in him. Yet, despite the pressure, he never wavered. He worked harder, learned faster, and tried to show the humans could embody the values Leora admired, and in every moment of doubt he found strength in her gaze, in her unwavering belief that he could rise above fear and judgment. One evening, as they stood together on a cliff overlooking the glowing oceans of Zephyria, Leora whispered, "You are teaching them too. Humans are fragile, but they are not weak. You are proof of that." Alex squeezed her hand. "And you are teaching me that humans can be more than we believe. That even in the stars we have value." For the first time, he understood the true meaning of connection, how courage, love, and trust could challenge even centuries of doubt, even the judgment of an entire alien species. And in that quiet moment under the twin moons, he realized that the conflict with the elders was not a threat but a chance to show humanity at its best. Time passed, and slowly, the tension that had shadowed Alex and Leora began to ease. The elders of the Lyrans continued to watch, but something had shifted. They saw the way Alex moved among their people, not with arrogance, not with fear, but with respect, curiosity, and care. He listened when they spoke, helped when needed, and approached their world not as a conqueror but as a learner. Leora noticed the change first. One morning, as they walked together through the floating gardens of Zephyria, she turned to him with a small, proud smile. "They are beginning to see you differently," she said. "Not all, but enough. Your presence is becoming a bridge." Alex felt a mix of relief and disbelief. He had come to Zephyria as a visitor, a human curiosity. Now he was becoming part of their world, not by force, not by technology, but by being himself. The realization struck him deeply. Humans were often underestimated, fragile in comparison to alien civilizations, yet here he was, earning trust simply by showing courage, kindness, and understanding. Over the next few weeks, Alex's bond with Leora deepened. They explored Zephyria together, traveling to places humans had never been allowed, witnessing the beauty of glowing oceans, floating forests, and the mysterious energy that pulsed through the planet. Leora shared her knowledge freely, teaching him about her people, their history, and their delicate balance with the environment. Alex shared Earth in return, the stories of humanity, the warmth of campfires, the quiet strength of small acts of kindness, and the simple joys that made life meaningful. With each passing day, their connection became stronger. They laughed together, shared silences comfortably, and sometimes words were not necessary. Alex felt a strange kind of happiness, one that was steady, not fleeting. He realized that this was what humans longed for most: recognition, understanding, and the chance to matter. One evening, they stood on the cliffs overlooking Zephyria's glowing oceans. The twin moons reflected on the water, painting everything in silver and violet. Alex felt Leora's hand brush against his, not by accident, but intentionally. He turned to her, their eyes meeting. "You have changed my people," Leora said softly, not through force, not through words alone, but by showing them what humans can be. Courage, empathy, honesty, these things cannot be taught. They must be seen. And now they have seen it through you. Alex's heart swelled. For a long time he had wondered if humans truly mattered, if their small, fragile species could leave any mark beyond Earth. Now, standing with Leora, he knew the answer. Humans mattered. Not because they were strong or fast or technologically advanced, but because their hearts could shine in ways even ancient aliens could not ignore. The elders approached quietly, observing the pair from a distance. They no longer whispered about danger or instability. Instead, they nodded subtly to one another, acknowledging what they had witnessed. Alex understood their approval was not immediate, but it was enough. Enough to know that he had earned his place, that humanity could be respected, and that his bond with Leora was recognized, even among those who were cautious and wise. That night, as Alex returned to Leora's room, the photograph on her wall seemed to glow with a new meaning. It was no longer just a symbol of fascination or curiosity. It was a testament, proof that humans could matter, proof that he had changed not only one life but the perception of an entire species. Leora smiled at him, a warmth in her eyes that made his chest ache. "You are more than a visitor here," she said. "You are part of our world now, and I am grateful that you chose to stay, to stand, to be human in the way only humans can. Alex reached for her hand, holding it tightly, and realized that this was more than friendship. It was trust, respect, and a recognition of what it truly meant to matter. In that moment, he felt something he had never felt before. Belonging. Not just as a human, but as someone who had changed the story of an alien world. For the first time, Alex truly understood that humans, fragile and flawed as they were, could shine in ways that no one, not even the stars themselves, could ignore. Years passed on Zephyria, yet for Alex time felt both fleeting and eternal. He had arrived as a visitor, a human stranger stepping into a world that seemed impossibly alien. Now he was part of it, no longer just a curiosity, but a presence that had changed how the Lyrans saw humans, and perhaps how humans could be seen across the stars. The photograph that had first startled him still hung on Leora's wall, but now it was surrounded by many more images. Moments they had shared, moments of Alex exploring Zephyria, moments of laughter, learning, and simple connection. Each picture told a story not just of an alien woman and a human man, but of two species finding understanding, trust, and hope through each other. Alex often found himself standing in front of the photographs, remembering the journey. He remembered the first time he stumbled into Leora's room, the shock of seeing his face on the wall, and the quiet, commanding presence of someone who saw beyond appearances. He remembered the early days of confusion, of fear, of wondering if he belonged. And he remembered the day he chose to stand with her, to show courage even when the Lyrans doubted him. It had not been easy. There had been whispers, doubts, judgment, and fear, but he had learned that humanity was not defined by strength or perfection. It was defined by courage, by compassion, by the willingness to stand for what mattered. In this alien world, he had discovered that small beings could leave enormous marks, not through force but through heart. Leora approached him quietly as he gazed at the photographs. Her presence was familiar, comforting, yet still awe-inspiring. She did not speak at first. She simply took his hand in hers, their fingers intertwining effortlessly. "You've changed everything, Alex," she said softly, her voice carrying both pride and emotion. "Not because of what you are, but because of who you are. You've shown my people that humans can be more than fleeting sparks. You've shown them that courage, love, and curiosity matter." Alex swallowed, feeling a mix of humility and joy. He had never thought of himself as important, never imagined that a human could leave a mark so profound. And yet here he was, proof that even a small species could illuminate worlds far beyond their own. "I didn't do it alone," he whispered. "You taught me, guided me, and believed in me. Without you, I would still be just another human on another planet." Leora smiled, the gentle shimmer of her skin reflecting the light of Zephyria's twin moons. "And yet it was you who chose to matter. You took that step over and over again. That is what makes humans remarkable." Together, they stood on the cliff overlooking Zephyria's glowing oceans. The twin moons reflected on the water, casting silver and violet light over everything. In that moment, Alex felt something he had never felt on Earth: complete belonging. Not just to one person, not just to a place, but to the idea that humanity itself could shine, even in the vastness of space. He knew that humans were fragile, often flawed, and sometimes insignificant in the grand universe. But he also knew now that their courage, empathy, and spirit could resonate far beyond what anyone imagined. Even here, among beings who had existed for centuries, humans mattered. As the years continued, Alex became more than an observer. He became a bridge, a teacher, a friend, and a symbol of humanity's potential. Children of the Lyrans would ask him questions about Earth, about human laughter and music, about small acts of kindness that could change lives. And each time he would tell them stories careful to share not just knowledge but the heart of humanity. When he returned to Leora's room, the photograph on the wall caught his eye again. He reached out and touched it gently. The memory of that first accidental step, that moment of shock and awe, had become a symbol of everything he had learned, that even one human, small and fragile, could matter to an entire world. Leora stood beside him, and without words, they shared the understanding that had grown between them over the years. Humans were not invincible. They were not perfect, but they were alive, brave, and capable of touching hearts, even alien hearts. Across the stars, and in that quiet, glowing room, With Zephiria's twin moons casting silver light all around, Alex finally knew the truth. Humanity could matter. Humanity could change worlds. And he, a single human, had left a mark that would last forever.